With Neuvillette's rerun coming up, a lot of people are asking the same question. Is he still worth pulling and building today? If you're looking for one of the strongest Hydro DPS units in the game with very low mechanical difficulty, Neuvillette might be exactly what you need. But before getting into builds and teams, let's quickly go over how he actually plays. Neuvillette is a pure on-field Hydro hypercarry whose damage scales entirely off HP. His gameplay revolves around powering up a charged attack beam that deals massive AoE damage. Normally this takes a few seconds, but by using his skill or burst, he generates these blue balls called source water droplets. These droplets let him fire the beam almost instantly when absorbed while also healing him. In practice, this means his gameplay loop is very simple. Generate and absorb the droplets, channel the beam, and repeat. There are two important caveats to be aware of though, especially at C0. Firstly, he has very low interruption resistance, meaning a single hit can cancel his beam if you aren't shielded, and secondly, one of his passive talents comes with a trade-off. His damage stacks whenever you trigger multiple different Hydro reactions, but that usually means avoiding duplicate elements on your team. Unless of course that extra teammate is strong enough to make up the difference, which is why Furina works so well with him. With that in mind, let's talk about talent priority, because that's where most of his damage really comes from. The vast majority of Neuvillette's damage comes from his charged attack, which scales directly with his normal attack talent level, so this should be your top priority to get to level 10 first. His skill and burst can be leveled up afterwards for some extra damage, but their main job is to generate the source water droplets he needs. Once you've got his talent sorted though, the next big piece of the puzzle is choosing the right weapon. His signature weapon, Tome of the Eternal Flow, is still his best in slot option. It provides massive crit damage, HP, and a huge buff to charged attack damage whenever his HP changes. Prototype Amber gives a lot of HP and restores energy to the whole team, making it arguably his best weapon outside of 5 stars and Battle Pass options. And speaking of those options, Sacrificial Jade is a fantastic pickup if you have the Battle Pass. Its performance is not far off his signature weapon and in some cases can actually outdo it. It has incredible crit rate and HP, but requires short off-field time to maintain its passive, which should be perfectly fine in most rotations. Lost Prayer to the Sacred Winds also offers good crit rate, though he can't always maximize the stacks. The Woodset remains a weapon that may seem tempting to run since the crit damage is nice, but 2 out of the 3 random buffs are almost useless for him and far too reliant on RNG. With weapons out of the way, let's move on to artifacts, which are thankfully more straightforward for Neuvillette. 4-piece Marechaussee Hunter is the best artifact set to run. It was specifically designed for him, giving a massive 36% crit rate bonus because he is constantly changing his own HP. 4-piece Heart of Depth should only be used as a placeholder while farming Marechaussee, which is encouraged as it is from a resin efficient domain. In terms of main stats, you'll want an HP % Sans, a Hydro damage bonus goblet, though HP % is viable if it has better substats, and lastly a crit damage circlet since the set provides so much crit rate. Realistically, you'll want to focus on energy recharge until you meet his requirements, typically around 120 to 140% depending on the team. HP % and crit stats are equally valuable after meeting his ER requirements, and I guess flat HP does exist. So what does a good Neuvillette actually look like in practice? Here are some stat benchmarks you can aim for. Generally, you'll want Neuvillette sitting around 35 to 40,000 HP with close to 64% crit rate to fully take advantage of Marechaussee Hunter. After that, just stack as much crit damage as you can. Once your build looks something like this, the final step is putting him into the right teams. Ideally, Neuvillette wants buffers or units who can reduce enemy resistances to amplify his damage. A shielder can also be appreciated but is not required at C0. The best team to maximize Neuvillette's personal damage is Neuvillette, Furina, Kazuha and Jilonen. Furina provides Hydro Resonance and massive damage buffs, Kazuha is essential for grouping and VV Shred, while Jilonen provides additional Res Shred and helps stack Fanfare through her healing. A budget or free-to-play team is Neuvillette, Fischl, Beidou and Sucrose. Known as the Taser team, this one is actually quite fun to play and fairly easy to assemble. Beyond this though, Neuvillette also works well in Vape, Hyperbloom, Nilobloom, Freeze and other Hydro-based archetypes. Finally, let's quickly talk about Constellations, because this is where Neuvillette's biggest quality of life upgrade comes in. C1 gives you one free passive stack and boosts his interruption resistance, essentially fixing the 2 biggest issues he has at C0. C2 enhances his passive so that each stack boosts his charged attack's crit damage, giving him a straightforward damage increase. C3 raises his normal attack talent by 3, which directly increases his primary source of damage. C4 generates extra source water droplets when Neuvillette heals on field, but you really need C6 to fully take advantage of it. C5 increases his burst talent level, but because his burst's main job is droplet generation, this offers only a minor damage bump. And finally, C6 lets his beam absorb droplets to extend its duration. This is the biggest personal spike for Neuvillette and a fitting capstone. In summary, C1 is his best constellation. It allows you to play him confidently without a shielder and makes team building even easier. But C0 is still very much functional and more than enough for most players. With all of that covered, is Neuvillette still worth it? Anyone who needs a top tier DPS that is easy to play and is free to play friendly should consider him. He can't be skipped if you dislike boring gameplay, as his loop can get very repetitive. His sustained damage approach has also been outshone by newer burst focus units that are currently favored in the endgame meta. Overall, if you enjoy characters that deal consistent damage and scale incredibly well with investment, Neuvillette is one of the safest DPS units you can build long term in Genshin Impact. If this helped you out, consider subscribing for more Genshin content, and let me know in the comments whether you're pulling for Neuvillette on his rerun. Give this one a watch if you need any more information on who to pull in 6.3. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.